7 in the National Football League, and you are watching Picks with David, a disembodied voice edition, since my green screen isn't working today. Let's take a look at what we've done so far this season on Picks with David. Another spectacular week as I went 5-1. That bumps my record up to 26-11 on this season. Let's see if we can have another great week. And we'll begin with our first game that is out in Green Bay. It's not overstating it to say that this is a possible Super Bowl preview as the 5-1 Houston Texans take on the 4-2 Green Bay Packers. Both teams have had health considerations throughout the year, and it continues. We've got, Jordan Love early in the year was out for a couple of weeks. Malik Willis came in and performed admirably against some weaker competition. But now we've got Love back in the driver's seat, and he faces off against another one of the great young quarterbacks in the NFL in C.J. Stroud. Both these franchises are set up for the long run. We've got Joe Mixon back at running back for the Houston Texans. Of course, Josh Jacobs for the Green Bay Packers. Wide receivers abound on both teams, but this is going to come down to defense and perhaps home field advantage. And for that reason, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers in a tight one on Sunday. Game number 2 is a battle for the NFC North lead as the 4-1 Detroit Lions take on the 5-0 Minnesota Vikings. The Lions are riding high after clobbering the Cowboys in Dallas, and the Vikings are coming off of a bye week where they begin the season undefeated. They've looked very good under Sam Darnold thus far this year, and it's all keyed on the fact that they have a strong running game with a good offensive line and an outstanding pressuring defense. On the other side, the Detroit Lions, they're the defending NFC North champs. They made it all the way to the NFC Championship game last year, and this is a team that is on a mission. And I think that this is going to be a fantastic game. I think that Detroit will run the ball. They have a two-headed attack in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They've got great tight ends at Sam Laporta. They've got a wonderful set of wide receivers in Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tim Patrick is coming on along with Jameson Williams. And it's all on Jared Goff to distribute the football to his array of running backs and receivers. I think that they have a great offense. But they're going to face their most pressureful defense thus far this season in the Vikings. I think that could cause some turnovers, some inconsistency. And I think we're going to see both teams turn the ball over in this game. No one is going to be perfect, although the Vikings have had some extra time to prepare for this game. I think that Detroit has the advantage, even though they're playing in Minnesota. And so for that reason, I think that I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to win the game in Minnesota. It's a Super Bowl rematch out in Santa Clara as the 5-0 and two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs take on the 3-3 and defending NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. Both teams have actually had quite a lot of time to prepare. Kansas City had a bye week this last week, and San Francisco played on the Thursday night game last week, so only a few extra days for the Chiefs, who are going on the road to get ready for this one. Both teams know each other so well, and it'll be a very fascinating matchup here at this point of the season. Now, the 49ers, of course, are without Christian McCaffrey, and they've had some injuries in the wide receiver ranks. This week, it's Jawan Jennings out, and the rookie Ricky Pearsall will come in to spell him. We've got Jordan Mason probably out. That means we're going to see other running backs who have done a good job in the place of Christian McCaffrey this season. But it's on Brock Purdy to distribute the ball and get it to his array of players. They still got George Kittle. They still got Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. And they have one of the best offensive lines in football. That means they're going to have, some strong up front battles against Chris Jones, Mike Dana, and company. George Karlaftis, the defensive line for Kansas City is one of their strong points, but I think both sides of the ball will be negated by their strengths. And that means it's all going to be about the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs against the defensive line for the San Francisco 49ers. Nick Bosa, of course, is still there for the 49ers. The Chiefs have struggled at their tackle positions. Jawan Taylor with a lot of false starts, holding calls, illegal, lining up, in the backfield instead of being on the line. And the team has been troubled by penalties, especially holding when they have tried to run the football. And both teams, we talked about them being injured. Kansas City's without their number one wide receiver in Marquise Brown, their number two wide receiver in Rashee Rice. They're without their number one running back in Isaiah Pacheco. In comes Juju Smith-Schuster off the scrap heap here before the season began, and he has performed very well in place of Rashee Rice. Kareem Hunt comes in as a free agent, and he has been filling in nicely in the running game. I think that Kansas City just continues to perform up to their standards, despite the fact they have played some very close and tough games. I think San Francisco is a wounded animal in this game, and I like the Kansas City Chiefs to go on the road and win against the 49ers again. Sunday night football is the 2-4 Jets at the 4-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers are going to start Russell Wilson for the first time this year, which I think is going to negate some of the quarterback runs that we have seen from Justin Fields this year. But we may see a lot more accuracy, a little bit more seasoned veteran behind center, may allow them to really up their passing game here against the Jets, who are going to be pressuring that Steeler offensive line. The Jets defense has been heralded for the last couple of years, but they're not nearly as good as they have been in the past. But here we go. We've got Aaron Rodgers gets his man Davante Adams back. Expect him to get quite a few targets alongside Garrett Wilson, and that takes Allen Lazard to the number 3 position. Now, they've got a two-headed running attack in New York if they just decide to utilize them. Breece Hall and Braylon Allen are dynamic playmaking running backs. And if they decide that they want to run the football, I think that's going to be the most effective way for the Jets to stay in this game against a tough Steeler defense. But I like the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat the New York Jets on Sunday Night Football. Monday night doubleheader, and the best of the two is the 4-2 Baltimore Ravens at the 4-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Ravens have been running the ball very effectively with Derrick Henry. Of course, they have virtually another running back in the backfield in quarterback Lamar Jackson. While his accuracy has still been in question, they do manage to get the ball down the field to his big play receivers, and those are his tight ends, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Now, they sprinkle in quite a nice batch of Zay Flowers along the way, and I think if they could get him the ball a little bit more, this is an offense that can explode if they use the play-action passing game. On the other side, you've got a wonderful defense for Baltimore, but they're not nearly as good as they have been in the past. and they'll face Baker Mayfield and his team, along with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They've got themselves a couple of really good running backs themselves in Rachaad White and in Bucky Irving. And so the defense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing at home, they have struggled from time to time, but I think that they are the best team in the NFC South. I think the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the AFC North. And this is a great clash between these two teams. If Tampa managed to win this game, they could really stake their claim as being one of the elite teams in the NFL. But I think Baltimore is just going to be too much for them. And I'll take the Ravens on Monday night in Tampa. There you have it, another edition of Picks with David right here on YouTube and Facebook. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the videos so that you don't miss any of my videos as we go through the NFL season. Thanks again, and we'll see you Thursday night for my next pick.